Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is episode 3 of our Nobodies campaign in Kenshi. What a beautiful sunrise here. As you might have seen in the quick message that appeared, um, there were some issues with the recording of this episode, and it was mainly my fault not knowing how to operate OBS correctly. I had the incorrect setup for audio capture, which was never an issue before when trying to record gameplay, but this time it was because sometimes while I'm recording, I'm also listening to a podcast or some video about another game, and what happened was the recording went and captured that too. So what I did was I patched the audio from other parts of the gameplay. So if you're hearing some weird audio here and there which does not match the actual gameplay, like the battle going on in the background right now, that's just my attempt to avoid having, um, you know, silence through the play. We continue to work on our halved little base here with Yumi and Ridley, and part of that is to hunt down some Garu in the area, mainly for food, and for leather also, which we sell to make some money. And the two of them are, we don't even have a backpack yet, so I have to actually unload the inventory manually every time before getting into a fight. We try to take one Garu at a time, and so let's see how this fight goes. That was pretty easy, but as you'll see, we got pretty beat up. That Garu was already damaged. Imagine if it was a completely, healed adult Garu. At this stage of the adventure, our protagonists here, they're still worried about survival, and survival right now means being able to actually eat. We didn't have enough inventory space to get all the meat from the Garo, so we're going to carry the body back, which will also help with training some of our character's strength. We make it back safely into Heft, and we're just going to go sell these things. After selling some items, I realized we have enough to actually purchase a small backpack, so we're going to do that to hopefully help with our inventory management. Then we'll get some rest to recover from our wounds and continue our patrol. We slept all the way through the night, and it's the morning of day 10 here. We're gonna head out and look for more Garu or some lone bandit that we can abduct and turn in for a bounty. Because we only have 164 cats right now. And very quickly it looks like it's going to be another battle with Garus. which is fine. They provide some good, um, you know, skill gain, and they also provide food. I'm showing a lot of the manual actions here that I've recorded, but later on I will edit those out. I'm just sort of giving a like a peek preview, sneak peek, I should say, of the hardships of Kenshi. We do much better fighting a younger Garu, and we managed to get, more food and more leather to sell. Later, we find some bandits that we can take and turn in for a bounty, and I pull or aggro just one of them from afar because fighting more than one outlaw swordsman right now might be a problem. As you can see, our characters are still struggling quite a bit to fight the swordman, and we're getting quite the beating here. We are wearing some shoddy grade samurai armor to help with the, you know, damage reduction, as well as some standard grade tin can and some pants. We managed to prevail against this outlaw swordman, which means we're going to collect not only the loot to sell, but also the roughly 1100 cats bounty there. So we heal up and we go turn him in. And soon here the normal game audio returns. On the next day in the morning, we find another pack of Garwood coming by, and we fight this one. Unfortunately, the samurai join only at the end, so we're gonna take the leather from this one. After healing up, we're gonna go and try to take a second guard this time because we didn't take that much damage in the first fight. Every fight we take, we get a little better, and with the money, we get a little bit better equipment and become more protected. It's important to keep an eye on your surroundings when fighting because it's not uncommon for a patrol of enemies to roll in from a direction you're not looking at and catch you off guard in Kenshi. And just like I said it, here they come. We're gonna have to try and run away, but I think we're not gonna be able to. We sustained too much damage to our legs, so we're gonna get beat up. Ridley quickly goes down. I'm gonna activate sneak, so when she wakes up, she doesn't immediately try to attack the enemies again. And now Yumi is down also, and we're gonna set them to hold and passive, likewise, to keep them from attacking. Because it looks like Ridley actually tried to fight again and got beat up one more time. This fight with the Garu put us in a really compromised position here, so we're gonna have to go back to town and try to recover. Luckily, that starving guy didn't want to. Vagrant, I should say, not Graven. The starving vagrant did not want any of us, so we were pretty lucky in that sense. Let's crawl back into town and go rest in the beds. Nothing else happens on day 11, but in the morning of day 12, we see that there's a patrol of sand ninjas picking a fight here with the samurai. And of course, that's not going to end well for them. And since it's not our fight, we're just going to watch it. It's kind of fun. And we're not going to go loot them like that. The samurai won, it's their loot. When going around the gates here, we see an outlaw, Cat, just standing there. And I think to myself, well, we have a chance to finally help someone. So, since no one can see us, I'm gonna unlock their shackles and let them go free. At this point, a thought starts to form in my mind that maybe the purpose of our character is gonna be to do some good for the world of Kenshi. And maybe a little bit of good that we can do now is to just free a slave, give them a second chance. We are successful in unlocking the shackles, and now apparently Cat wants to follow us around. So we're gonna take them for a walk far away from the city, and hopefully they get to go free. While walking away with Cat, we spot a trio of starving vagrants, and they're usually pretty good targets for practicing sword skills or combat in general. So we're gonna again unload our inventories so we're not over encumbered, since it slows down our combat speed and our attack and block speed, I should say. And we're gonna go take the fight with those starving vagrants. And here you can see the dialogue. Cat celebrating that he's free, just as the vagrants are coming in. Unfortunately for Cat, he stays in the path of the vagrants and gets beat up immediately. His freedom was short lived, or rather, it starts in a really peculiar way, being beat up by hungry people. But it's valuable, his sacrifice, because it makes the starving vagrant swordman come at us in against the two of us by himself. So we're able to quickly take him down, and Cat's still holding up. So we're gonna go help him out again. I am disarming these vagrants here because I want to heal Cat and I want him to have a chance to actually escape. So I'm not gonna let the vagrants have their weapons around him because they might wake up around the same time, and we're not gonna be here to watch over Cat. Cat is doing fine apparently, just passed out, unconscious. So if we heal him, he might be able to actually get out alive. We're gonna quickly heal one another here and then go heal Cat. It looks like his stomach wound or chest wound was getting worse, so we kind of need to get to him soon. Oh, what a relief. Cat is alive, wounded, but wakes up and is able to walk away free. Mission accomplished. After a while, we pick a fight with another outlaw that's got some bounty for us. Day 12 is being quite eventful. This outlaw farmer, we aggroed him out of his group, and his friends continue to walk away over there. And they have about 1,200 bounty for us, which will come in nicely. I like to think at this point that our characters believe they are doing something good by collecting bounties for the United Cities. If you're a veteran of Kenshi, you know though that the United Cities are not the good guys at all, and we're actually hurting the poor and dispossessed here and turning them into the authorities. As you will see later on, the longer we spend around the United Cities, the more we'll start to realize that hunting these guys down for a bounty is not, the most honorable or benevolent thing we can do. And eventually we'll stop and we'll seek other alternative means of making money. So Yumi got beat up pretty bad, and there's this slave guy trying to fight us. I think Yumi will wake up though without a problem. And here we're gonna make sure that our captive is not gonna die before we turn them in. We're back out again for a patrol at the end of the day, and I just in time spotted the noble coming in and talking about us. So we have to run into the town to avoid being hunted. I'm gonna go hide by the shinobi thieves. At this stage of the game, it's quite possible that a shot from that hunter's crossbow could completely sever a limb. Here we enjoy this really nice sunset of day 12 while we rest, try to recover, and think about what else can we do for the future of Yumi and Ridley. Unfortunately, this is also where the videos I recorded have more audio issues, so I replaced the audio with just some random audio. At least it provides some background noise and music from Kenshi. While looking at the robotic arms, realize they're really expensive. So our characters are going to have a little conversation here. Trying to keep within the essence of our characters. Of course, Ridley wants to adventure, right? But adventuring is quite risky in Kenshi, and being beat up every day is not something that I would say is what someone would call a good life, even though we're seen here hunting some bandits again. So I like to think that really would also like to get a little bit of rest from the fighting, at least for a few days or a few weeks, um, so that they can think about their next step. Fighting, though, at this moment is still our only way to make cats. So while we set up for our future, we will continue to do some fights here and there. We'll also hunt some Garu. And continue to chase a few bounties. Why, you might ask? Well, I decided we're gonna buy a property in town. We can't just be sleeping in the camps of the Empire peasants forever. We need to find a way to make cats by doing a little bit of honest work in town. Here we're trying to hunt down a skimmer for the horns. And we're getting beat up pretty bad. Luckily, we are successful and we go and buy a new backpack for one of our characters. On day 14, I found a caravan leaving town in the beginning of the day, and I thought maybe I'll follow them. And the caravan came to this camp of Empire peasants, farmers. In the distance, we saw a group of outlaws, with one of them having a bounty and some good equipment on him, like a crossbow, which sells for quite a bit. So we went to take that one and drag him back into town with no problem. Um, Shortly after 1:30 a.m. of day 15. I am showing here the process of turning in those bounties now, but as it can be quite repetitive, I'm not gonna do it for every single bounty in the future. Here we do something interesting. We find a few manhunters. We catch them off guard. And it is, of course, a crime to attack them in the United Cities, but they have good equipment, and we can, you know, get some revenge on them for enslaving so many people, which seems to be sort of like the ideal that is forming in us and this duo, as in being a duo that actually helps transform the world of Kenshi into a better place. So we'll fight the manhunters here, and let's see how it goes. They are quite mad at us, but we take the second one down, and of course, we're going to strip them of their items so we can sell them. And hooray, look at us. We managed to do a 2v3 fight. So we sell their gear, and later in the day, we find a pack of Garu. Here I'm checking that the rest of the Garu are not coming to surprise us again, and I realize the noble hunter is coming our way, so we're gonna have to be quick with this. We take one Garu down, and unfortunately, Ridley is knocked out. But Yumi is able to finish the fight, and Ridley wakes up shortly after. The noble is coming in our direction, though, so we are in a bit of danger here. And we did get attacked by the noble, and this is the result. So we spent the rest of the day and into the early morning hours of the next day in jail with Yumi, and somehow Ridley was not spotted by the guards, so she is sleeping while a sneak is activated, so she doesn't get seen. And I'm gonna wait out the bounty. I stripped Yumi before getting beat up and arrested, so we wouldn't lose our items. Luckily, they didn't despawn, and no one picked them up. In the morning of day 16, Ridley is still sleeping because the bounty hasn't expired for her. So Yumi is doing the fight by herself against an outlaw farmer here. Tried to catch another bounty, but she can't carry him. However, Ridley will be able to come out soon. It was not our day though. We actually got knocked out by the outlaw farmer. This is one of the situations that sort of highlights how dangerous it is to try to make the living simply by hunting down these outlaws, right? It's just not sustainable long term for us. So let's see if we can bring him back, and hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we can turn that bounty in. We are very damaged though. I bandaged ourselves a little bit to make sure our wounds do not continue to degrade. And here I'm doing the dance, trying to convince this character, this enemy, to actually follow us, and constantly checking to see if Ridley's bounty has expired, so she can come out and help. It should happen at any time now. And it was not our day. And now we're knocked down, probably into a recovery coma. At this point, we need the bounty to expire on Ridley so she can come out and pick us up before we are enslaved by some manhunters passing by. And just in time, it looks like the bounty expired, so we're going to drop our backpack and run out to pick up Yumi. Still on day 16, as Yumi recovers, we have Ridley fighting some vagrants, trying to get their gear. And in the background, looks like some manhunters are getting beat up by a skimmer. And I was checking because I gave Yumi an order to come join the fight. And I was wondering if she was going to get caught up by the skimmer. Ridley finished the fight well, though. So we move on. And in the evening of day 16, Ridley is fighting Garu as Yumi comes out to assist. Still on the same day, about an hour later, we find another Garu walking around and continuing to try to gather some cash. We fight it for these items. And we finally have around 14,000 cats, which is just enough to buy our property, which we do right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.